We both saw Tron. No surprise, we did not like it. But now we're talking spoilers.
And you saw it twice.
I saw it twice. Now, look, I love the original Tron. It was so radical and like an original vision for science fiction at the beginning of the tech boom, like even the sort of pioneering, right? The early 80s. That was so early. The tech, what they developed to even make that movie. It's remarkable. If you look at documentaries about the making of the original Tron Legacy carried on that story, with Sam Flynn. So the legacy was continued. It was directly connected to the events of the original Tron. And in Tron Legacy, you know who's in it? Tron, played by Bruce Boxleitner. Tron Ares breaks from all that, introduces new characters, and I've seen people comparing it to The Force Awakens, where they do the legacy characters dirty and introduce new characters, like Greta Lee's character, among others in this cast. Evan Peters as Julian Dillinger, Greta Lee as Eve Kim, and Jared Leto, who plays Ares. Tron is merely a brand. And this movie is definitely got Force Awakens vibes, for sure, in the sense that it's looking to kind of reset, reboot, and introduce new characters and F off to the old characters. In addition, our friend Nerd Cookies, he said it right and basically said that Eve Kim is the Rey Skywalker of Tron Ares, if that makes sense. There's girl boss vibes in this, and even the one of the characters here, God, I forget her name. She was in The Acolyte.
Athena.
Yeah, Athena.
Jodie Turner-Smith.
Yeah, Jodie Turner-Smith was in. She plays Athena. She is a villain. She's an antagonist. But can you guess what happens with their character? I'll tell you right now. We're full in spoilers. She is defeated in the end, but what happens because of her identity? She can't be fully bad. She was only doing her job, doing what her programming was told, and she has a little redemptive death scene. That's right. Athena, quote, dies and has a little redemption moment. Of course, everything with Eve Kim works out amazing. She's great and amazing, and everything's perfect. Yay. And then Jared Leto, I kind of felt like it reminded me of the ending of Dark Knight Rises. Sorry, going to spoil another movie. At the end of Dark Knight Rises, Batman didn't really die. He faked his own death, and Bruce Wayne was off in France with Catwoman, having coffee at a diner, and Ares is now, biking and taking his motorcycle through the third world, sort of looking at this. Look at my adventures now with all the little people in the third world as I experience humanity. And he's now
the Greta Thunberg of Tron.
Yes. He transitions from the digital realm, wins, and his fate is riding off into the sunset on a cool motorcycle, having adventures with the little people. All of this is stupid. I saw it a second time in a theater that was not packed. It was IMAX screening, should have been packed, was not. It was maybe 2/3 full, but you could have gotten plenty of good seats, were still available. And literally no reaction. I will say that some of the scenes with some of the action scenes are pretty spectacular, but they're vacant because you just don't care about any of these people. And then, of course, Evan Peters in a mid-credit scene, get ready, folks, becomes he basically takes on the visage of his father
in the Tron world.
In the Tron world.
Yeah.
You know. So,
you know, the weird helmet,
yeah.
helmet.
What's his name? Sark or whatever.
Yeah, Sark.
I have to look. I look, it's the movie's a mess. It's all because of the script.
Mm-hmm.
He might as well have written this with AI. There's a human element to AI. When you're rebooting and remaking franchises and whatnot, what you're doing is you're remixing ideas, you know, and maybe adding an original flair, but you're remixing ideas. And that's what AI does. It's a randomizer, right? When it comes to creativity, it randomizes words. And this is using the dumbest elements of Tron and not actually adding the elements people wanted to see, like Sam Flynn and other characters. You know, it's not a direct sequel necessarily. I mean, it doesn't focus on elements that they could have from Tron Legacy, which I recently bought on sale for $5 on Fandango, a digital version. Anyways, Alan, what thoughts do you have to add? And I don't know, are people still watching? I guess everyone stopped watching because they don't want to hear spoilers. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is not a sequel to Tron. It's basically a reboot.
Right.
Because with the exception of Flynn, there's no one or nothing really from the originals. Except for the names, the motorbikes, the brand, the light cycles, the recognizers, you know, and instead of bringing people into the world of Tron, world of Tron is now brought to Earth, and that's kind of the thing here. The problem with this movie is the story. It is so thin that you know, so the idea is that if you come from the grid, you have 29 minutes to survive in the real world, or you get derezed, which calls into question, how did Korra survive?
Right.
Which is why I'm saying this is a reboot, because they don't even address that. Somehow Korra is able to live on forever, but not these characters. And then they have to find the permanence code. Mind you, they have to find it. They don't have to make it. They don't have to rewrite it. They have to go off to some distant, you know, snowy mountain lair, get the code, and then chase the person who has the code, which is the Eve character. You know, I'll say it. I'll say it before I say it again. You know, at least the first two movies had something to say. You know, there was a commentary about the relationship between humans and technology. That was especially part of the first one. The second one, you know, it was about, you know, to me, people don't like the first one, or it's gotten mixed reviews, but the thing at least that was in it was this idea that Flynn, by staying in the grid and not coming out, meant that the world was going to be safe from the grid. And so there's that battle kind of going on, and that was kind of the whole point of that movie. This one is just, let's just chase the person who has the code, and then once we get, you know, and then the whole conceit of the whole movie is that Julian Dillinger wants to sell these military assets, these from the grid, to the highest bidder. Has that story ever been told in the history of film? I mean, that story specifically has been told over and over and over again, and this is just another one. And when I walked away from Tron, the feeling is that Hollywood doesn't know how to tell stories anymore. They're just rehashing the same story and putting no soul in it. Not a single idea of how this idea of bringing elements of the grid to real life would affect humanity. Instead, all we get is an action movie. And we talked about it on Wednesday about the light cycles. It's not light that they're emitting; it's some kind of polycarbon plastic, apparently. And then at the end, it's just pure nostalgia bait. When we go into the world of the original movie,
the original
Tron,
grid,
the original grid where we see Flynn, that I believe is the authors, the screenwriters saying, "Oh, let's throw a bone to the original fans."
Right.
And by the point that this happens, which is well into the third act, I'm so pissed off and tired of this movie. Not even the nostalgia could excite me. In fact, it made me even angrier. And then the way this movie wraps up in the most god awful dialogue. It's the world's going to be a better place, or Tron or Ares is like,
oh no, it wraps up where Eve Kim, there's a montage on the news of how she solved all the world's problems. They've solved starvation around the world. She's solved cancer. And just to shout out to our friend Nerd Cookies, Eve Kim is the Rey Skywalker of Tron Ares. Like, yeah, look at that. That's her tweet. Yeah. Bottom line, this is soulless corporate garbage. It says nothing about the world. It's it's peak girl bossery
and POC, her diversity team.
Yeah, it's Tron Ares DEI edition. That's what this is, and this is what happens. Corporations are not capable of being creative. If you know anything about the original Tron and how it was made, Steven Lisberger fought for that movie so hard. The creator of the original film, in terms of inventing processes, the story, there was a creative energy to that movie. Even though it wasn't a huge hit at the time, we've never stopped thinking about it. And there's so much that a new Tron movie could say about the world, social media, how we interact together. But it's a typical girl boss cures cancers, solves starvation, and is the bestest ever. And barely struggles in the film. Avoid like the plague. It's a brand, and it another example that Disney cannot. They don't know how to shepherd their greatest IP. Final thoughts, Alan. We'll go to your comments.
Well, I mean, you said something really interesting that I hadn't thought of before. But after the first Tron movie, you watch it, you could think about stories down the road from where you could see a direction. You can see ideas come out of this world, and to some degree, Tron Legacy tried to do that. And I think after seeing it the second time, I like Tron Legacy. This one, there's just nothing after it. Because it was all just action. This happens, then this happens, then this happens. But it's a movie that has nothing to say about anything.
It spurred the original Tron, spurred the imagination of what was possible. Audience. It was like it did this world building that was so good that you kept thinking about it. Well, what about?
It's like, I want to see more. I want to see what.
Yes, and all this did is take ideas from that original and did them with more spectacle. That's the only thing you could say positive on Tron Ares. I know people are praising the soundtrack too. It is pretty good. But it's not. I don't know. Daft Punk I think was better, but this avoid like the plague. This is bad. It has nothing to say.